Your communications team got together and decided that we should take a few minutes and tell you about what's actually going on with communications and available to you as club members. I had all these notes all beautifully written out on my computer, and my darn file won't open, so I'm going to have to wing it. So bear with me if I make some mistakes here. So our mandate as a communication team: get you to the information that you want online in 3 clicks or less. Okay? Publish to the appropriate platform content that has been provided to us. Collaborate with committees and projects as needed. And it was mentioned during the announcements there that we were doing the collaboration with the auction team. And we're willing to work with any project and team to help you as necessary. Promote awareness of Rotary within our community, and ensure the public and members have access to current and useful information. And I just want to give one quick shout out to Dana here. Dana has totally revamped our webpage for us, and what you're going to see this afternoon is in fact the outcome of that. So I hope you're all ready for it. It's really quite good. Now, your communications team members, this is a picture taken in front of a hedge. And so we've got Joanne McNair, who's currently the liaison for our cluster communications group. Kathy, who heads up the group and looks after our social media. Myself, I look after newsletters. Dana looks after the web page, and he also, with myself, looks after our email box from our web page. And then we've got Bob and Dave, and they've both just joined the communications committee, and they don't have specific tasks yet, but we want to involve them more and more in the communications committee based upon their passions and interests. Bob, as was mentioned earlier, helped us a great deal with the auction piece with the new tagline. Our info mailbox at info@rcot.ca. Not a very fascinating or fun thing, but this is where prospective members will send emails to us and say, I'd like to come to a meeting, or I'm interested in Rotary. And these emails get passed on to the person in charge of membership, which is our president-elect. We also get inquiries about funding, and the funding requests get passed on to the appropriate committee chairperson. We also get some just general information sent in to us, and we get hundreds and hundreds of emails of people that want us to redo our website. Those are just to be deleted because we don't want to deal with it. So we're going to explore our webpage a bit. We're going to start off by looking at our buttons across the top of the webpage. And those buttons across the top of the webpage take you to, when you click on them, you get a drop-down menu. And the drop-down menu has a list of things. In most cases, it's all in alphabetical order, and you can click on them and it will take you to either a document, something will download to your computer. You can fool around with it a bit and you'll see exactly what I mean. So here's our homepage, and this is the way that it in fact looks. It's got our Rotary Oakville Trafalgar in the top left. It's got the member area in the top right where we click to sign in. It's got a search bar. It's got a whole bunch of different buttons, and then we have the icon for this particular year, or the logo for this year, which is the magic of Rotary. And then underneath it says, are you someone who wants to make positive changes in your community and the world? Our club members are dedicated people who share a passion for community. So, and then underneath that, you have icons that take you directly to our Facebook page. You don't need to have Facebook to go there. You can just click on it and go see. Or to our Instagram page, if you want to see what the Instagram posts are. And the one in the middle takes you directly to info@rcot.ca. So our first button is donate, because we always want to help people donate. So there's 2 ways you can donate to the club. And if you go into this section and you donate here, it either goes through Canada Helps, which automatically produces a tax receipt, Or if you send money directly to the foundation and the email money transfer address is shown there on this screen as well, then June has to produce a tax receipt at some point for the year. But most people, I believe, do in fact use Canada Helps, which cuts down work for our treasurer. Our next button, About Us. So there's a lot of stuff under About Us, but what's really important in About Us is the key stuff. So we have an area called Getting to Know Us. It's a wonderful piece that Karen Milner wrote for us, and we update it from time to time. This is also where you go if you have applications for funding, if you want funding for a community project or an international project. This is also where you would find how to become a member. What do you have to do to become a member? And it also gives you our contact address and send us a message. So a lot of things here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can go and check them out. It's it's quite extensive. Projects, our projects. So we've broken up our projects into areas that replicate our avenues of service. So community service, environment, Indigenous, international, and then a special button for Oakville Education Awards, and then youth services projects and programs. So if we're provided with content, we publish the content into one of these areas. Our fundraising. Fundraising, we have a number of different fundraisers. We have the Bingo charity fundraiser. We have the button for donate. Oh, yeah, because we want you to donate to us again. So we put it in more than one place. We've got the bottle drive, we've got Ribfest, and we've got the online auction. So all of those you can easily get to by going to that particular area. Club news, we're going to go into in a bit more detail in just a second, but here you find club bulletins, club stories, photo albums, and Rotary International news. So I'm just going to take you into the club bulletins area, just tell you what's there. So this is where you get the weekly courier. If you, for instance, I get calls all the time from people who said, I didn't get the weekly courier. Can you send it to me? And I can send you a copy, usually my copy of mine that I got, or you can go directly to our webpage and go to.
Oh, no, not again.
You can go directly to the club bulletin section, and you can select the weekly courier from the week that you want. The weekly courier is dispatched on a weekly basis to all members and anyone who's shown an interest in the club in receiving weekly news. So, for instance, we have some former members that still want to know on a weekly basis what's going on in the club, even though they're no longer involved directly with the club. They get the weekly courier. Our quarterly Riots newsletter, which came out just a few days back, it's published in January, April, July, and October. And it's an excellent opportunity for the people in charge of committees and projects to communicate with the club and with another very important audience, and that is the public. So we send out the quarterly newsletter. It goes out to all of our club members. It goes out to friends of the club and anyone else receiving the weekly courier. So on a normal quarterly newsletter, we dispatch this to over 100 people. So, and that 100 people, of course, may in fact send it on to others. We're never too sure. You'll notice that in the style of the Riots quarterly newsletter, you get a one or two sentences for each area, and then you have to click on read more. And it's worth doing to click on read more, because there's a lot more that we're able to put in with this type of setup than what we used to have, which we scrolled through everything forever. So this is a good way to do it. I also want to just tell you, because I found this out the other day, that Jim Campbell is soon to put down his pen as our most consistent and long-running journalist. So he's been doing Jim's jottings now for years, but he thinks that he's coming to the point where he'd like to do it less and less. So just so you know, if you're talking to Jim, you can always encourage him to write more, I think everyone would appreciate it if you did. I think we all benefit from his sage wisdom. We put out special notices as well. Now, we put out a special notice for the auction last year. We put out a special notice in 2022 for RibFest. And we have the ability to do a special notice for any particular thing that we need to do within the club. So just so you know, we do have the ability to be very targeted in our communication if there's a need to. Now, this is something that we've had now for a few years that a lot of people are not necessarily familiar with. Jim Campbell, a number of years ago, sat back and said, would it be useful if I wrote a history of the club? And of course, it'd be useful. So Jim did. So if you go to, if you search for In the Beginning, this will come up. It also is available in the About Us area of the website. You can, history of the club is there. You just click on it and it takes you to this. And it gives you the history of the early years of the club. And over time, we need to continue to add to it. You also will find in the About Us area, you'll find like we have a list of all of our presidents and when they were president and so on and so forth. And where we have them, we have photographs and stuff too. So pretty interesting stuff. Photo albums. Well, this is very, very interesting. If you are a long-term member in particular, and you're interested in what someone looked like many years ago, you can find out for sure. Because our photo albums go from 2024 all the way back to 2009. And they're listed in order, alphabetically by year, I believe. No, sorry, they're listed in order by year. And so the last photo album we put in was on the Paella Club Luncheon. Now you see the main photograph there of June making paella. And the other pictures from that day are there as well. So these photograph albums are accessible to anyone. They're accessible to anyone in the public who wants to go and look at photo albums. Club stories. Well, on our webpage, and I'll show you this in a couple of minutes, we have club stories. Well, those stories currently are put there by Dana, and he does all the work to write them from the information provided to him. So when he writes those stories and puts them up there, these are things that prospective members read if they go to our website. These are the things that they're looking at. They can see whether or not they're interested in being a member of our club, whether or not they would like to participate in the activities that we do. The key to club stories is having content. And content means that if a committee is doing something interesting, that would be of interest not just to our members, but to the public, if we're provided with the content, we can publish the information. So very important. Club stories only stay up for a short period of time, and then they're taken down. Rotary International News. Now, Rotary International News is pushed to us by Rotary International. We don't select this at all. This is just automatically is pushed to our Club Runner site, and it changes over a period of time. But you can go here and read things about Rotary International and whatnot. So it's a good source of information. I'm going to go back to the main menu bar again, to membership resources. Now, the key to membership resources is, as members, as we sign in, we can see everything. Just so you know, if the public signs in, they can't see everything. So this is never a good place to send the members of the public, because they're not necessarily going to be able to see everything. Here we've got all sorts of useful stuff like, where do I find check requisition? We've got the Club Runner tutorial on how to use Club Runner and go through all the different sections, which has had a number of views, by the way. And that Club Runner tutorial is housed on YouTube. We've got how you send an e-transfer to the club. June wants everyone to send e-transfers. So when we have money for happy bucks or whatever, let's use the e-transfer as much as we can. We have a list of our members there and our members orientation guide. And we also have, for those people fascinated with the Rotary Online Auction, when you go down to Rotary Online Auction, there's a drop-down menu, and here you get the list of all the things that we got last year and who got them, the online tip sheet for Rotarians, which actually gives you some statements and whatnot that you can use in dealing with a business trying to get an item. We've also got the frequently asked questions for the auction, which are also replicated on the auction website. We have a donor letter, if you want, which you can edit. It downloads to your computer. It's a Word document, and you can change it as you wish. And we have a sponsor letter too, and we also have the data entry form. So all the information you need for the auction is actually available through the website. We also sent information to you in emails in the beginning of September, and we repeated that part of that email last week. But again, if you can't find something and you need something like a donor letter for the auction, pick up the phone and call us, send us an email. We'll send it directly to you. This is new on our webpage. We haven't had this for years, but we now have it, a calendar. And this is a great point of reference, quick reference. So you'll see on this calendar, you'll see the bingo shifts. You'll see events such as meetings. You'll see anything that we comes our way that we can put onto our calendar, we do. So, and the calendar, of course, is by month. So going back to the main page now, away from the buttons, but underneath, we have current speakers, stories, and events. So on the left-hand side, you've got speakers, and you'll see that it tells you, and this is Cliff and his team have been doing all the work for this. They tell you who the speaker is, the name of the speaking event, and if you click on it, it gives you more information. It'll give, if we have biographical information on the individual, it'll give you that. It'll show you a photograph of who's going to be speaking. Lots more information. In the middle, we've got club news. This is where the club news stories are. And you'll notice that halfway down, you'll see triangles or chevrons, if you will. And those chevrons, if you click, will take you through to the next stories. And you could, so there's more than 2 stories there. And then we've got meetings and events. And meetings and events is showing you where things are. And if you click on this, again, you get more detailed information. Now, if you're looking at our website on your phone display will be quite different than what you see here right now. On a phone display, you get your speakers, and then you get your stories, and then you get your events. It's sort of like it takes everything and it just puts it in a long line underneath. So sometimes it's harder to find things, but it's easy to find things if you're trying to use the menu buttons, because the menu buttons are in this little thing in the top right corner of your phone screen called a hamburger. And if you think of it, it's like 3 straight lines. We've all seen this, but that's called a hamburger. And if you click on that, you get all the menu buttons for the web page, and you'll be able to find your information. We also have some very helpful Rotary links. And these links, and I'm going to show you a couple of these in a minute. These links take you to useful information. So all the Rotary clubs in Oakville, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, the district, Make a Great Pass, our YouTube channel, Rotary Zone 28 and 32, and Shelter Box. They're all here. So these are very quick ways of getting to these areas and not having to try and find the web page yourself. Our YouTube channel, Rotary Club Oakville Trafalgar, well, it's got a number of videos there. Now, it's got like the Ryla video that David showed us when at Salvation Army a few weeks back on Ryla. So that video's there. You can see here, there's a screen capture, Jim Campbell doing Robbie Burns Day in 2014. So the actual Robbie Burns ceremony that the club sat through, it was videotaped that year, and it's there. We also have videos from RibFest 2023 and 2022. So if you particularly like a band or whatever, you'll be able to find the videos for that band and re-enjoy that moment again. Dana looks after our YouTube channel, and he was the one who made it happen. And thank you, Dana, for doing this, because I think this is a very important part of our club. Not everything has to be a static photograph. We can use videos effectively as well. Now, we often are asked about, we can't find anything. So we thought we'd put together the 3 easy ways to find content. The first way is the search bar. On the very front page, when you go into the website, there's a search bar. Many people don't see it because it's in very faint sort of print. It doesn't show up a lot, but there is a search bar, and if you put things in there, you will get responses, but you don't always get the response that you're looking for. So for instance, if you put in club history, it'll say there's nothing there. But if you put in the beginning, which is the title of the article, it will take you to the article. So this search bar is useful, but it doesn't work for everything. So we need another method. Well, method number 2 is emailing Dana or I directly and telling us what it is you're trying to find, and we'll help you find it, or we'll find it for you and send it to you. And the third way is you can send a note directly from the homepage. Right underneath where speakers are listed, there are these boxes that says name, email address, and comments. Now, this box was originally put there so that anybody in the public who wanted to be a speaker had a way of communicating with us and being able to say, you know, I'm so-and-so, I want to come give you guys a talk. But we're also using it for our members, because this is a very fast and easy way to, you don't have to remember Dana's email or my email and all that good stuff. You can just go in here and say, person A, this is my email, I can't find whatever. And when we get it, we will know who it's from, because that tells us in our mailbox, and we'll get back to you with the information. So 3 easy ways. One is the search bar. The second is emailing Dana or myself directly. And the third way is using this info mailbox. But our communication is not just about our webpage, because we also do external awareness, and we do that primarily through Instagram and YouTube. So this is looked after by Kathy. At the moment, when we have a speaker coming, you will see this on Instagram, an upcoming speaker. I decided to use Matt because he's got a great smile. So that's why you're here, Matt. And we show the date and the time and how it's happening, like where it's going to be. It's either via Zoom or it's at an in-person location. We also do events. Now, this, you'll remember, is from the Rotary Game Night social that we had. And we also do postings for projects. And this is an example of one that was done for RibFest this year. But that's not all of the communication that takes place. There is actually non-committee communication. This is communication that the committee doesn't control, but it does in fact happen. So you've got Raj sending out the meeting announcements. And as was mentioned earlier today, these are in fact the best meeting announcements any of us have seen in a long, long time, because they're engaging, they're interesting, they tell you more than the meetings on this such and such a day. And when we can all see each other again, we should applaud Raj's hard work here. We also have websites that are looked after by Bent. So one of them is called rotaryoakville.ca, and it's got the greatest tagline of a website I've seen in a long time. Rotary in Oakville is a house with 5 doors. What a great tagline. And you'll see on that webpage direct links to all the different Rotary clubs in Oakville, including Halton Rotaract. So this is a very fast way of being able to go, and I wonder what they're doing in Oakville West. Well, come here, you can find out. I wonder what they're doing in Rotaract. Come here, you get to their website and find out. So a good piece of information to have. And this is also the website that we use when we're promoting as a cluster, when we're promoting Paul Harris community events or the Oakville Education Awards. This is the site that we use. So at the Oakville Education Awards, as an example, people are told at the end, if they want to see a copy of the picture of the graduates or whatever, this is the site that they're directed to, as opposed to directing them to all the different sites that they could be going to. Bent also looks after 2 of our fundraising sites, and both of these sites require significant work and redoing each year. So these aren't things you just do them once and they're done. They constantly have to be updated, and a lot of information ends up being put into them. So one, of course, is the Oakville Family Rib Fest on the left side, and on the right side is the Rotary Online Auction. Now, I can tell you all, because we've just got this information this morning, that the auction will be available for preview on October the 19th. Okay, and you'll be able to register as a bidder on October the 19th. And when you're registered as a bidder, you can look at an item and you can put a star beside it. And that way you can go back in and just look at those items that you starred. So lots of interesting ways and good ways to be able to find your auction items. And thank you, Ben, for all of your hard work on this. So your communication committee really thanks you, because we're very dependent upon you giving us the information that we need in order to put information up. So I think that's about it for now. And are there any questions?